you got what was going up in, you know, in Bristol and Wolverhampton with Goldie and those guys. They were all pushing it as well, man, you know. And they're all pushing that kind of futuristic stuff as well, you know. And that's obviously a big early influence. Yeah, London Giants. Yeah.
Did you see the Controlling the City piece back in the day in Dulwich?
That was amazing.
How mind-blowing was that Controlling the City?
That was crazy. Yeah, again, talking about, you know, mention AD, man, because, you know, he was a big inspiration to me as well.
The character, the Weetabix.
Yeah. That was so good that was my first ever tag, was Weetabix.
No! Yeah, was it really?
Yeah.
Was it South London bus seat?
Well, so, we used to hang out in Bromley, so, like, there used to be, man, on a Friday and a Saturday night, there used to be up to like 100 writers who would meet outside McDonald's.
Wow.
It was nuts. That's a really important and undocumented part of the London scene, man, you know. Like, no one's got any pictures because you just didn't pull out cameras back then. No, you had people like Wretch from Artistic Vandals who did crazy tags, man. RK, all these people, you know. So we worked hard, you know, getting an individual kind of hand style. It was really, really important. It was the core. Early 90s, which a lot of people say is the kind of golden era, I was kind of out of it then, you know, because I'd moved on and we were part of the acid house scene then, you know, that had kind of overtaken. So we were out raving every weekend, listening to that kind of music. But I was completely obsessed by it, you know what I mean? I wasn't just obsessed by just bombing and getting up. I was actually obsessed by aerosol art. I love that.
It's in your blood.
Yeah, I was, you know, doing that from when I was a kid, you know, and I've always loved doing that. Always loved looking at new reaches and new tags, and yeah, of course. Again, that's the core, that's the basics of the culture, isn't it? You know, that's the foundations right there.
On this week's show, I have another artist in the back of the cab who creates these eye-catching head turners. They are stunning pieces of art that have once again brightened up the London landscape. And he really has created his own kind of unique style, which also pops. The intensity of the colour and detail in his pieces literally drip creativity. It's on another level. And he's also a DJ. I'm excited to say we have the one and the only hugely talented, big him up himself, the big man himself, Mr. Cenz in the back.
What's happening, man? You good?
Listen, mate, it's an honour.
Of course, man, of course. No, I'm glad we can make it happen.
And it's a little Sunday morning session. We're going to delve into your, history, which is going to be incredible. And do you know what? First person I want to give a shout out to is Snake.
Yeah,
Big up to
right,
Snake.
okay. Yeah, you had him on here recently, man. Yeah.
Amazing guy, yeah.
Man. Yeah,
so we've got to give big up to Snake. Snake
man.
Also recommended me to obviously contact you and do this interview as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But you was on
he's
my...
He's a good guy, man. He's a good guy.
He's a wicked guy. But you was on my list of people to contact, because when I'm driving around London, you know, I'm seeing your incredible works of art on the walls, you know, like around Peckham and all around London. You know, and it's real kind of eye-catching stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I've got, maybe 20, 30 pieces all around London, man. Yeah, and then obviously in South, I've got the big murals. So got the 3 in Crystal Palace, 1 in Peckham. So yeah.
No,
once you've seen my stuff, you kind of recognise it everywhere.
Yeah, and I can't wait to talk to you about how you developed that kind of style. But I'll tell you what, Cenz, let's kick it off with the first 2 questions I always ask is, you know, whereabouts are you from, and what was it like growing up, you know, as a youngster?
So yeah, I'm from Bromley, so very, very near where we are now, so my first introduction to graph was obviously through the whole kind of hip hop culture coming over. You know, my cousin was a breaker, he was older than me, and then obviously, you know, the similar story to most people. As soon as that, you know, the Graffiti Art Bible kind of was released, so we all saw that in primary school, and we're like, wow, that's it, you know. So
it was kicking off, yeah.
Yeah, that was it. You know, everybody was into hip hop then. You know, you were either an MC, you were either, you know, doing the break-in, so everybody had their part to play in hip hop. You know, it was it was the thing. Do you know what I mean? Back then.
Was you into any other elements of hip hop? I mean, did you get into like breaking or popping?
No, not really, not really. We had a little try, you know.
Had a little dabble.
I can do a bit of a knee spin. That's about it.
A bit of a caterpillar.
After a few beers now.
You got to watch your back. Yeah.
But I was into art anyway as a kid.
I was going to say, was you into art at school or anything like that?
I was always into art, so I was always drawing, but traditional art didn't really click with me, you know. So I was lucky enough, my parents, they used to take me to galleries and stuff. I used to love it, but it just wasn't really me. But then when I saw, obviously, those trains being painted, I was like, right, that's my path.
Really? What trains are you talking about?
Like in Subway Art, you know, like when I saw that book, I was like, wow, the colours, the movement, the fun. I was like, yeah, that's.
It was on another
and the
level,
idea of obviously no rules as well, you know, just do what you want, you know, the freedom of it. So that was it. So once I saw that,
you got the fever.
Cenz,
can you talk about, you know, a few of them like little trains from like Subway Art and all that? You know, some of them kind of artists that were kind of, you know, inspiring you, or like, you know, I mean, because there was so many in there, amazing artists. But was there a few kind of key little pieces that you'd be like, yeah, that really pops. I'm really into that.
Yeah, I mean. There was so many, you know. Like I remember we used to copy every single piece out of that whole book, you know. But I mean, standout artists for me were obviously Dondi, Scene as well, Scheme. You know, these were the guys that stood out for me, you know, for sure.
Big inspirations.
Big inspirations, yeah, for sure. And then obviously, you know, then you started spotting stuff happening in London as well. You know, up in Covent Garden with the Chrome Angels, Mode 2, you know.
Well,
absolute legends to me, you know what I mean?
Well, I was going to talk about that, but quickly going back to that Subway Art era, was there also, which is quite important, was there any kind of record covers that you was like loving as well? I mean, you had like the Hey You, the Rocksteady Crew cover, you had the Jelly Bean cover, Upski, you know, you had all these.
Some of the UK kind of hip hop albums, yeah, if you remember those, remember they all had different pieces on and stuff like that. I can't remember who the artist was, man. Also, the Breaks and Beats.
The Breaks and Beats, yeah.
I think it's Kev who did the Breaks and Beats characters. They were wicked, man. I used to love those characters. I bought them all again now, you know, those albums. Yeah, they're great.
They're fantastic albums, but also, as you said, the sleeves were incredible. So you could actually, I'd love to get them Ultimate Breaks and Beats and put them into like, you know.
Well, I've got a few of them in frames. Yeah.
Oh, you got them in frames?
Yeah.
Remember
you should check out the guys.
Remember the one with the octopus as well?
Yeah, that's wicked, man. You're the B-boy octopus. Yeah. The guy's still painting, man. I found his Instagram. I can't remember what his Instagram is. So the original guy, and he's doing them on canvases and stuff. And they look amazing, man.
You know, as we were saying, you know, there were certain key artists, especially in London, that were really kind of, you know, really sort of doing this head-turning kind of art on walls.
Yeah.
And you know, you said like obviously the Chrome Angels, Mode 2. I mean,
yeah.
You know, I've had Mode in the cab. Big up to Mode 2, man. And
oh, nice.
You know, how good were the Chrome Angels?
Yeah. No, of course. Amazing, man. But there was a few. There was like non-stop artists who. A big crew back then, Fade 2, so they were a big inspiration as well.
State
South
of
London,
Art,
State of Art, yeah. So, and then obviously you got what was going up in Bristol and Wolverhampton with Goldie and those guys. They were all pushing it as well, man. You know, and they're all pushing that kind of futuristic stuff as well. And that's obviously a big early influence on my kind of style, that early kind of 80s style, because it was very kind of futuristic.
Big time, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was going to say...
That fits exactly with what I do now. You see elements of that
100%.
In what I do now, you know, that kind of future funk, as I call it.
100%.
You know?
Yeah, you know, because that around it was kind of like 86, 87. That sci-fi futuristic kind of style was really popping off, wasn't it? And
that's core to what I do now, you know, that influence.
I'll tell you another amazing artist who was also on another level was Jap 302, Juski from London Giants.
Yeah, London Giants. Yeah.
Did you see the Controlling the City piece back in the day in Dulwich? Did you ever
witness that? Yeah, of course. That's where the where the Conor Harrington is now, isn't it?
That's right on the corner.
Yeah. East Dulwich, yeah.
How
that was amazing. That was amazing,
was that
man.
controlling the city?
That was crazy. That was crazy, man. You know.
I mean, for its time, we're talking that was 1986.
Yeah. That was absolutely nuts. I remember going to see that a few times, man. There was nothing like that, especially in South London. You know,
it was incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And I'll tell you another piece over that way as well, which was also mind-blowing. It was put up in 1985. It was the Supreme team. They put up a piece, it said Graffiti, with like a tube driver holding a lunch bag next to it. I don't know if you would have seen that. It was around 85. But that was done by Artful Dodger and Plaz.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, I know AD well, man. Yeah. He's an unsung hero, man. Artful Dodger, for sure.
Dodger. And how good was Artful
Where
Dodger?
was that? Where was that piece then?
That was over in Dulwich. I can't remember the road it was on, man. But it was like, it said, I've got pictures of it. It says Graffiti with like a tube picture.
It rings a bell, man. It rings a bell.
I'll send you a couple of pictures. Probably, I remember that. But that was put up in 85. I think Jack 302 Jewski done the character. I'm not 100% sure about that. But it was an incredible piece. And you also had other wicked artists as well, didn't you? Like, obviously you had Tough Arts with Drone 2 and the Tough Arts crew, Cash and all them, Scarf.
Yeah. Man, there was loads. There was
and
I'm glad you, again, talking about, mention AD, man, because, he was a big inspiration to me as well, man.
Really?
Yeah. Again, because he was South London, South London guy. I don't think he's got the full kind of props he deserves, really, because he was doing that calligraphy shit before anyone else, and now, I don't know if you remember the Weetabix advert he did.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried to rip to rip it off walls. Do you remember that?
Yeah, because that was the first kind of bit of, graffiti art, kind of commercial graffiti art that you saw on TV, whatever. That was amazing, man. It's like, wow. Look at that film, man.
The character of the Weetabix.
Yeah. That was so good that was my first ever tag, was Weetabix.
No! Was it really?
Yeah.
Was it?
I used to write that because it was such a big inspiration, man, because I must have been about, probably only about 10 years old, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're around, I think you're about 6 or 7 years younger than me,
innit? So I started out young, you know what I mean? I was messing around, tagging and stuff from 8 years old, so.
And having a little dabble.
Having a little dabble in the local park and that, at that age. So we started young back then.
Yeah, you go from toy style to like now what you're doing, which is absolutely incredible. But we all start.
Well, we put in the graft, man. We put in the years, And
paint back then. For these amazing artists, your Drone 2s and your Artful Dodgers and Chrome Angels and all these wicked artists. Crimean and all them. It's like the paint they was using back then was obviously it's quite watered down. So the work they was kind of coming out with was unbelievable. And I tell you what, I think it was when probably Buntlack come out. Buntlack was kind of a bit of a game changer. Yeah,
exactly, because the paint was solid colour. Before that, it was like painting with piss, It was like, it was awful, the car plan and all that. It was so runny, man. Then all of a sudden it's like, wow.
And the colours of the colour.
Yeah, exactly. But still, you got, like you say, there was no different caps, all this kind of stuff now. There's so many amazing tools of the trade now, you know what I mean? Young artists have got so many different brands of paint. It all works amazingly. All these different caps, all these different tricks and
different pressures as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So it's amazing, really.
It's come a long way. It's totally different.
It's like big business now, isn't it?
Huge. So. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are banging to graffiti. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what we got to talk about as well is the South East London buses. I mean, they got a hammering so bad. I mean, they were so bad that literally you could not look out the windows. It was like going in onto a bus. It was all dark and that because there were so many tags on the buses. Yeah, you couldn't even see out the windows.
No, it was crazy, man. Yeah.
Tell me about the South London bus scene.
Well, so we used to hang out in Bromley. So. Like, there used to be, Man, on a Friday and a Saturday night, there used to be up to like 100 writers who would meet outside McDonald's.
Wow.
It was nuts. There were so many of us. And then we would just go off, just causing chaos. Do you know what I mean?
You was part of that?
Yeah, I was part of the Assassins crew, which was like a big crew. So that was, you mentioned Crimean, that was he originated that crew.
Crimean?
So, yeah, so he's a good friend of mine.
Oh, is he? Yeah. Is he what, by the way? Is he good?
Yeah, he's cool. I haven't seen him for a few years, but yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing talent.
Yeah.
So
we all went off, and then we'd jump on these buses, like bus jams, we used to call them. So it'd be like 20, 30 people jump on the bus.
What, and
you go upstairs, and literally people were just fucking destroying the bus, man. And all the people just get up and walk downstairs or on there, you know what I mean, just in shock. And every window, people were like spraying up there. It went nuts, and then to the point where the bus driver either stopped and got out and then just left us, do you know what I mean? Or people were jumping out the back window. Man, it was chaos. It was nuts.
It was totally nuts,
yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
and you know, this is back.
You could never do that now. Can you imagine? Can you imagine even that amount of people even just being on the street? The police would be going nuts, wouldn't they? You know what I mean?
Well, it was CCTV that kind of killed that as well. But back then, do you remember, Cenz, like the driver would look up from his compartment, and there used to be like a concave kind of mirror looking up the top on the back of the bus.
Yeah.
And you could see the hole in the back of the bus.
Yeah, so you'd have someone sitting on that. Someone would sit on the mirror bit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you cover that over. But yeah, so that was a big part. That's a really important and undocumented part of the London scene, man, you know? Like, no one's got any pictures, because you just didn't pull out cameras back then, really. You know, people thought you were undercover or something if you got a camera out. You know, so or you just had those dodgy kind of throwaway ones, you know? So, not many people took photographs, you know, but somebody somewhere probably has got some.
I've seen a couple of photographs here and there.
Because I'd love, it'd be amazing to have that documented, man.
And you know, as we were saying, with with hand styles, there was some amazing hand styles.
Oh man!
I mean, you think about it, the hand style. To me, it's got such a style in its own, you know. And there was some incredible.
Well, it's the essence of it all, man, isn't it?
Without doubt.
And South London. As well as, you know, obviously West London was great as well for hand styles.
North London,
yeah, North London. But yeah, South London, we had amazing range of styles, man. You know, and everyone was trying to do something different. You know, you had people like Wretch from Artistic Vandals who did this crazy tags, man. RK, all these people, you know. So we worked hard, you know, getting an individual kind of hand style. It was really, really important. It was the core. It all. So you spend all day in school practicing, you know. It was fundamental. So miss that, man. Really miss that. Because now you just don't see anything that's any different.
I mean, the style back then was so good. I mean, you know, your form, your hashtag Dev 666. Well, there was one in Woolwich actually called Death Star. Don't you remember Death Star?
Death Star, I do actually, yeah.
But yeah,
was that DEF? Yeah, that's spelt in death. Yeah.
It was extremely fresh. Always remember extremely fresh in Lewisham. He had the longest tag. I'm thinking, how's he put that up? It must take him about a minute to put up. But talking, and also you think about it as well, Cenz, like the bus routes as well. Like you know, because obviously you know, South London didn't really, especially South East, we didn't really have the tubes or any of that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you know, the bus routes were kind of like our lines.
Yeah. Obviously, we had the slam doors and stuff, you know. So we used to go to Bromley. We used to do a lot of trains going out to like Maidstone and Kentway, you know. So we used to travel up those ways up to Chatham and stuff, and do a lot of those trains. But yeah. I mean, the buses, they were really important, you know. Our little spot was the Bromley Common bus garage. That's where we used to break in and go in there, climb over the wall there. But like you say, yeah, they went all the way over to Lewisham and, you know, they travelled around, man.
They did travel around.
Yeah,
and talking about tools of the trade back then as well, the old pens and all that. Did you, what pens was you using? Was you using like the Pentels you had in 850s?
Pentel was my favourite, man.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah. I love the nib on that, man. Yeah.
And did you?
Pentels were great, especially you get the white paint ones, man. The little ones, the little stuff there, they're wicked, man. Yeah,
they're beautiful, aren't they? And did you ever make any pens as well, like Did you ever try and make your own pens, like the Kodak film cases, or like blackboard? You know, the chalkboard rubbers, markers.
Yeah, I used to mix up some ink and make little mop kind of markers and stuff, you know. But yeah, I wasn't big into making my own pens, man. Yeah.
And I'll tell you another style as well, which I used to love, was the two-tone style with the black and the red. So you get the black pen and then you drip, or was it a red pen? And then you drip black ink onto it, and then you get like a two-tone tag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I wish it was like that now, you know, like you just don't sit, every hand style looks the same, you know, now. It's a shame. It's really kind of lost that, man.
Lost its flavour a bit.
Yeah. Still big. If you go over to America, man, they still really kind of respect the hand style. Yeah. And in Europe as well, you know.
And I'll tell you what, let's talk about locations, because locations was quite key as well. You say Bromley and all that, but there's also a lot of locations around the southeast, obviously all around London. But you know, you had Woolwich Dockyards, Old Kent Road warehouse, or where the old post office was, I think. Did you go in that, like places like Woolwich?
I went to Woolwich Dockyards. Yeah. I've actually got a picture on my piece there. So yeah, again, I think the bus went to Woolwich. So. From Bromley, I can't remember what bus it was, but yeah, I remember going to Woolwich Dockyards. That was pretty sick. Yeah.
Was there a few?
Saw a few kind of Aztec bits down there. Yeah, he's been painting there for years, hasn't he?
Was the Tough Arts piece still down there? The one with the two characters either side.
Yeah.
Let It Rock, and also what was the other one? Oh, the Jap 302 piece with the guy with a space kind of helmet on.
Yeah, I remember that one, man. Yeah. No, that was a cool spot, man.
And there was also Chris as well, Jump 2. He had a couple of pieces down there as well.
Yeah, Chris. I know Chris. I mean, yeah. He did the character in spray can art as well, didn't he, Chris? Is that right? Did the portrait, the female portrait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Chris, good guy, man. Yeah. You know, again, that was the first that portrait. That was quite important to me, because like that was the first kind of mix of realism and graffiti art, you know, and that's going way back. Yeah, I remember that portrait, man. That portrait in spray can art. So it was great to meet him actually recently. Yeah.
And that spray can art, you know, what a great book that was as well. I mean, you know, there were so many great pieces of art in there as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Again, that was big inspiration, you know. So that's all we had, isn't it? You know, pre-internet. These were very, very important kind of. Sources for inspiration.
What kind of hip hop was you like listening to back then? Like, you know, was you banging to the hip hop sound? I mean, was you? Like...
Yeah, of course, man. As I said, you know, when it came over, it was the whole package. You know, if you were into graffiti, then you were listening to hip hop as well. It was all elements of hip hop culture. You know, it was you didn't have one without the other. So of course we were listening to Mike Allen, you know, on Capital Radio. Recording it with two tape cassettes next to each other, next speaker to speaker. Try and record it.
Yeah.
Some dodgy hissy tape.
But trying to get your aerial to work to pick up a good sound.
So I love my early hip hop, man. You know, I love a lot of the early kind of almost kind of electro-y stuff. So very stripped down drum machine kind of stuff. You know, like Steady B and you know. Yeah, all of that kind of stuff. I love it. I love the raw, stripped down.
About a bit of Mantronics.
Yeah, there you go, Mantronics. Yeah, as well. Yeah. So I was banging to it, you know. And then I used to love as well. I used to love kind of. I was buying some of the old breaks and stuff, so I was big into that as well. And then that kind of stemmed my love for kind of, you know, like funk and disco and soul and stuff, you know. But with the hip hop thing, I kind of got out of it when it got a little bit got quite political, got quite, you know, so kind of early 90s, which a lot of people say is a kind of golden era. I was kind of out of it then, you know, because I'd moved on and we were part of the acid house scene then, you know, that had kind of overtaken. So we were out raving every weekend, listening to that kind of music, you know.
Where was you going? What clubs? Can you remember some of the clubs you was going to back then?
Yeah. Well, the first club I went to was Future at Soundshaft, actually.
That's a great club, wasn't it?
Yeah. I was only about 15. My sister took me there on the Thursday night, so that was great. That was a kind of early Balearic kind of thing with Paul Oakenfold and that. So that was my first introduction, and then I was going to a lot of underground parties, and then I was going to a place called Love Ranch.
Oh, you was going Love Ranch, was you?
Yeah,
I used to go Love Ranch.
Yeah,
Maximus. In Leicester
I
Square.
remember we stumbled across that by accident. But that was wicked. We used to go there religiously, you know.
Yeah, Love Ranch were great.
Really good parties.
Well,
yeah.
I never knew you went there. You must have been young, like proper. Like,
yeah, we was all like 16, 17, yeah, rocking up at the door, yeah.
because it's mad, isn't it? Because that was the days there was no one checking you for ID or any of that. So you was clubbing at the age of 15.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. So I remember you get the last train uptown, and then first train back, man. Yeah, that was wicked, Love Ranch. I don't think we missed many of them. We're there every week. So, yeah.
Yeah, Love Ranches were great. And there were some great clubs back then in London, innit? I mean, your Astorias and your Heaven and your Sound Shafts.
Yeah.
Turn Mills.
Turn Mills, yeah.
Bagley's, did you ever go Bagley's?
Bagley's, yeah. And then there was...
the Cross.
Yeah, and then there was one in Holborn, Villa Stefano in Holborn.
Do you remember Villa Stefano?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah. I used to go to the Better Days parties there.
I used to go them as well.
Parties.
I used to go there.
There you go.
Yeah, we probably spoke to one another without even knowing it.
I definitely wouldn't have remembered it, yeah. They were pretty blurry days, man, but good times.
They were great. They were great times, weren't they?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's one thing about house music. Back then it was really bringing people together. Like, it didn't matter what colour you was, what religion you was. You was listening to this amazing, incredible music, and everyone was partying, under one roof. It was it was so unifying, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was great, and that was, once I was introduced to that, I was still painting, but that was what I was listening to. That's what we were into, That was. I always listened to hip hop on the side as well, because there was a crossover at points, wasn't there, with the kind of music, the kind of hip house thing. So, it was still kind of dance music, wasn't it? So, so yeah, that was me. I was just hooked on that. That's when I started collecting records properly as well. Started DJing and.
So is that when your DJing really kind of kicked off?
Yeah. I was collecting records from when I was really young, pre-hip hop anyway, and then obviously hip hop came along. I started buying the albums, but then obviously when the fucking acid house thing started, that's when I got just super hooked on buying the 12s.
You was like a vinyl addict.
Yeah, that was it. And then we started doing little parties and stuff like that.
Can you remember some of the shops you was buying your vinyl from? Was you going like Tag Records, Chucky's Tunes?
Yeah, Tag Records, and then there was it My Price, which was in Croydon, and then we were going up to on Berwick Street. What's up on Berwick Street now? Got Zoom Records. There was loads of them in Soho, wasn't there? So
loads.
Loads.
Black Market. And
Yeah.
Quaff, wasn't it?
Quaff, that's the one. That's the one I was trying to remember now.
Quaff,
I remember when that closed down, and we went up there. They'd be closing down, so I went up there, bought loads of records from there for like £1 each. I remember going back on the train with boxes of records.
Yeah, Fat Cat as well.
Fat Cat was a great one.
Covent Garden.
Yeah. Fat Cat was a really good one. Because, I started getting into my more kind of Detroit kind of techno and York kind of house.
Yeah.
Which is what I kind of play now. So I play a lot of kind of electro, deep kind of techno. That's my kind of sound now. But we were going, back then we started going to the first kind of Wiggle parties. They're all good friends of mine. And they were all kind of mainly South London, in crazy venues, so that whole kind of pre-tech house sound, and also that's when I started off my kind of record label, which is called Organised Sound. Did 5 releases there, and then started off another one called Affected Music, that was that pre-tech house, good house, good techno mixed together basically.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah.
Did you ever dabble at production as well?
Yeah. So a lot of the tracks on the label were actual my productions. Yeah.
So what was you using to create? Because this is
it wasn't I didn't have a studio, so I kind of hooked up with this guy who had all the kit, So I was doing most of the arrangements and, you know, stuff, and he was kind of mastering it and stuff. So I couldn't afford a studio, you know.
Well, and also pay for an engineer as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's not like nowadays where you can sit in front of a laptop and produce a wicked tune. I mean,
yeah, that's it. I mean,
it's money back then, isn't it?
It's so accessible now, isn't it? Just need a, you know, bit of software and it's all there, isn't it? Really, you know.
Yeah.
It's all there. But yeah, you actually literally had to have a proper studio, you know. So it was tough. It was tough to find someone who had that, you know. But yeah, no. So I loved doing production, and something I'd like to get back to soon for sure.
You know, when did it all change? You know, from basically doing like graph to suddenly creating this this style of art that you're putting up now? Because you know, there's a massive change here from what you was doing.
Well, that was a long journey, man. Yeah.
How did that journey kind of start?
So yeah, I mean, I was obviously, as you know, back in the day, there wasn't any legal spots or whatever. So you know, I was doing, you know, to practice and that. We were doing a lot of. You had to do illegal graffiti. You know, at the end of the day, there wasn't, you know, league streets or whatever. There was nowhere. You had to do it illegally. So I was getting in trouble quite a bit. Got arrested numerous times, pissing my parents off big time. But I was completely obsessed by it. You know what I mean? I wasn't just obsessed by just bombing and getting up. I was actually obsessed by aerosol art. You know, the art of the can. I wanted to really push that. You know, I wanted to do like full colour fucking wild styles and burners, you know, so it wasn't just about the tagging, you know. So it was always going to develop, you know. So, but because I got, you know, I was getting in a lot of trouble, and luckily enough I got away with not getting a criminal record, so because this was you know, pre-juvenile justice, so you know, you got just loads of slaps on the wrist and all got cleared when you're 18. You know, otherwise I'd have been locked up in this day and age. You know, the kids these days are getting, yeah, exactly. So we got off lightly back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, so then basically, because I was obsessed with art. I went to Croydon Art College. Just about got enough GCSEs to get into college, and then from there, that's when I started experimenting with different mediums, you know, like printmaking and painting, and you know, still mixing the spray paint with it, but trying out different things, you know.
Trying to create like a few, like, you know, different styles.
Yeah, exactly. That's when I started messing around with experimenting with all kinds of things, you know. And that went on for years. And I did a degree in fine art over Middlesex University. The weekends I was still painting pieces. But then obviously in the week I was experimenting with a lot of the abstract stuff, and that's the core. That's where the melting pot kind of happens, you know. And then so as I was doing a lot of these kind of my pieces were quite different, you know. There was a lot of kind of symmetry and stuff in my letters. There's a lot of similarities to what I do now. They were still very clean, very futuristic, but they were really different. My pieces already had a unique style back then, you know. And I remember a lot of people thinking, "What the fuck is that?" You know, because it was so different. So I always wanted to have a style. So being different was always important. So and then one day I kind of started messing around with portraits, and then what I started doing was just kind of mixing, you know, the graph elements, but putting the pieces in the face, kind of thing. And I remember I did my first one about 15 years ago now, something like that. Did my first one up in Shoreditch, and I remember someone going to me, "Wow, that is so different. You need to stick to that, man." When was that? And then that was probably about 12 years ago or something like that.
Right.
You know, and that was my first kind of face that I'd done with the crazy background and stuff. And so yeah, as I say, there was a writer and he said to me, "Look," he goes, "that's so original. You need to keep on doing that, man." You know, and then that was it. Once I heard that, I just painted on the streets like 2-3 times a week, and just developed it, and then very, very quickly became a recognisable style, you know.
It just drips creativity,
and you know, that's hard to get, but that was what 35 years of experimenting to get there. You know, there's no, that's what people always ask me about. Oh, how'd you get a style and stuff? Well, you've got to put in the graft. You've got to put the hard work in. There's no shortcut to it. It has to happen organically. Otherwise, you can tell if it's been forced. What you have with a lot of these guys now is that you can see they've taken a little bit from this artist, a little bit from that artist, and just put them together. That's not a style. You know,
it's very, very difficult to come up with your own style. I done an interview the other day with Nathan Bowen. Big up to Nathan.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and you know, Nathan, once again, is another artist that has come up with his own kind of style as well. So we were saying, you know, with all the millions or billions of people around the world, to come up with your own style of art is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, that's half the battle, isn't it? That's half the battle, really. You know, and it's great. You know, anywhere in the world, people recognise my style now. So that's for me. You know, I feel very blessed that I've got to that stage. You know, but like I say, you know, that's come through a lot of, you know, a lot of graft, basically.
Yeah, so, a lot of battling, a
lot of battling, a lot of frustration. You know, I remember at one point I was like, oh man, you know, I was kind of good. I could do like, I was good. I could do realism. I could do pieces. I could do all these different elements, but I just felt lost. You know, I was kind of a master. I could do any kind of style, but I didn't have my own style. I remember feeling really, oh man, when's this gonna happen? And it just, you know,
clicked.
Just suddenly clicked. Just an organic thing, just suddenly clicked. And then when you see it happening, you just got to work at it, keep working it, you know. And even now, once you got there, you got to keep on making it more and more intricate, harder to fucking bite. You know what I mean? Like, keep on pushing it.
So
once you got your style, you keep on moving developing that style, and you know.
That's a good point, because I was going to say, I thought you had kind of perfected what you're doing, but you're still looking and still pushing forwards to find more creativity, man. And more style.
Yeah, want to take it up to the next level, always.
And I don't know how you can do that, because it's already up there anyway.
Well,
I mean, I don't know what more you can do.
Well, there's a lot more you can do, man. There's always a lot. There's so much more you can do as an artist. You know, you got to think like that.
You got to push the boundaries.
You can't sit back and go, oh, I've achieved what I need to do. You know, that's not the way it works. You got to keep striving and keep pushing till the day you die, man. 100%. You know, but maybe not everyone's like that, but I certainly am. You know, and that can be, you know, that can be tough, because it's all you're thinking about. You know, it's like that can be quite a strain.
Do you, do you kind of like, here's one for you, do you kind of like wake up like, you know, you're asleep at night and suddenly you'll have a dream and you'll be like, oh no, let's try this or try that. Are you always kind of artistic thoughts in your head?
I wake up in the night thinking about a bloody new idea or a piece, or, oh man, you never switch off, man. Never switch off. You know, and that, as I say, that can be quite exhausting.
Yeah.
Never switching off, you know, especially when you've got to give time, when you're a dad and a family man as well. You've got to give, you know, give time to that as well. It's life's busy, man. You know.
No, I know exactly where you're coming from, Mr. Cenz. Do you know what I mean? I'm the same with the cab thing and trying to juggle family life. You know, it can be tough at times. But, you know, we get through it. Do you know what I mean?
No, of course, and I'm lucky enough to have a very supportive wife. Do you know what I mean? So, who, you know, I travel all over. Yeah. She, you know, she's totally cool with that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because, you know, that could possibly put a strain on things, and, you know, you do need an understanding, you know, partner, wife, girlfriend, or whatever.
definitely, man. Yeah.
Because you're under pressure yourself, you know, you've got to bring in the money, you've got to pay the bills, you know, things are going up, so, you know, you've got to be out there doing your thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, being an artist and you know, owning a house and living in London, you know, that's tough, man. You know, that's tough. You know, really tough. But, you know, I'm lucky, I'm blessed enough to be doing all right at the moment, you know, so.
Well, I'm rightly so, because you're an incredible artist. And a top guy as well, not a fucking, like, you know, your personality shines through as well. And
thanks,
that's
mate.
also, a positive as well, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
top bloke.
Yeah.
In terms of your style, can you kind of like walk me through it? So, like, what will you do? Have a look round like for a wall, or is it like commissioned work? And then do you use like a black book? Do you paint, or draw your sketches on a laptop or something, or do you literally freestyle it?
So, well, in respect to the walls, I mean, yeah, a lot of them, some of them are commissions, but a lot of my stuff, especially the street stuff, I just do it for free, So there's actually a lot of people now who find walls for artists, which is good because there's a lot of work finding the space yourself. But so some come from that way. Some people, I've got this wall, we can get you the lift or whatever, but you've got to do it for free. Some of the big ones, because it's just about creating artwork for the people, I'm a big believer in that, Like, it doesn't always have to be, a paid job. I want my work to be out there inspiring young people.
And also it's another way to kind of market yourself as well, I
And
suppose.
it's good, yeah, of course, especially the big ones. It's great advertising, So, yeah, and then obviously the process of the artwork is... So I look at a lot of reference images. So I work with a lot of photographers because I'm not a great photographer myself. So the photograph is always the beginning. That's the first stage. So I normally I find someone, I hit them up on Instagram. Is it all right if I use just a reference? Then I tag them in. It's like a kind of collaboration, almost, And most of the time they're totally cool. They love it, Then obviously you get the model's permission as well, So that's finding a really nice image, and then what I do is basically I literally just go to the wall with that photograph and nothing else, and I dissect the kind of photograph into this mad kind of psychedelic, like abstract. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you wouldn't want to be inside my head sometimes.
Oh, look, that all stems back from.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Love
See,
Ranch.
all the
Love Ranch
all the rave
days.
days. Yeah, they came in handy, man.
That's it. That's it.
They came in handy. I don't need to take drugs now. Just get my spray cans out.
That is your drug.
Yeah.
And do you
So yeah, it's spontaneous. Yeah, it's mainly spontaneous. I don't normally plan many of the colours. I just get in the flow. Put my music on, and I just get in the flow.
You get lost.
And that's it. Just get lost in the artwork. And that's what makes it exciting, because every new wall or canvas is a new adventure. And then you see lots of people, and they're like basically copying every colour. It's all planned. I'm thinking that looks like a job. That doesn't look that much fun. Do you know? Just painting by numbers, I just want to be free. It's that freedom I talked about again about graffiti. You just want to be free, and just freestyling is everything to me. It's really, really important, and that goes right back to the graph days as well.
Freestyling. 100%.
Freestyling, yeah. You didn't know what colours you could nick. Didn't know what colours you had. You just had to make it work, whatever. So I like that. And that's why I like kind of playing with those kind of colours that shouldn't work, those kind of graph colours, like pinks and oranges together, which could look awful, but I like playing with those,
And you do a lot of like women characters' heads as well.
Yeah. I do a lot of kind of female. Yeah, paint a lot of female portraits, mainly kind of black and mixed race women, which. I think it's really important, kind of underrepresented, Also, coming from southeast London, it's really a really diverse, community here, man. My family are mixed race, it's really important to me, And it's obviously important. It's a hip hop. It's a black culture, So,
yeah.
So, yeah. So I do a lot of portraits, but then I kind of chat, like I don't copy the image; they become like their own kind of creations, But then
you put your own, obviously your own twist onto it.
And I don't use the real kind of skin tones as well, because what I'm kind of doing with my kind of spiritual ladies, I'm kind of creating. It's almost like creating a kind of futuristic race where there is no skin colour. You know, it's all about unity. So it's about universal beauty. So it's not when it doesn't matter whether they're black, white, Hispanic, whatever. You know, it's about universal beauty. Everybody is the same. And that's why I use the psychedelic colours, you know. So
and that kind of stems back to hip hop as well, through like Universal Zulu Nation with peace, unity, love, and having fun and
exactly.
unity.
There's you're linking it all back. Yeah,
back
it's
to
a
hip
full.
hop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the core values of hip hop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. So it all links, doesn't it? Now when you're talking about it, it's a big
It does. It does all link. It's kind of full circle.
Yeah, man.
And when you get up to a wall, like, how do you create your pieces? I mean, you're using a combination of spray paint and pens and like tape.
It's all spray paint. Yeah. 100% spray paint on the walls.
But do you use tape to like?
Yeah. I do. Yeah. So there's obviously lots of little tricks. So you do use a lot of tape to get that kind of to get those nice kind of tight lines.
Clean lines.
Yeah, but then I like mixing that with the big kind of fat cap, you know, spontaneous kind of marks.
Freestyle.
So it's all about the contrast of the very tidy, tight graphic shapes, and then the big free kind of movements and big bold kind of fades and stuff. That's my work's all about, that contrast of kind of energies, as it were. You know, that's what everyone says about my work. Oh, they love the contrast between the curves and then the straight lines. You know,
and actually, anyone watching this, we're going to be putting a slideshow at the end of this cab chat with some selections, pieces of your work with a bit of music. Talking about cans as well, spray paint. I mean, you know, what are you using? What are you using? A combination of all different kind of cans and.
Yeah. I mean, I use so many different colours. You know, you again, when you see my work, there's like must be 50 different bloody tones. You know, 50, 60 different cans. So 'cause it's all different layering different colours. So. I'm lucky enough. I'm sponsored by Molotov, so I get some free paint from those guys, which is great. So I mean, I've got if you see my studio, there's so much paint in there. But so it's all apart from some of the big walls where you have to sometimes you block in some of the areas, you know, with the emulsion paint and stuff. You know, using a spray gun as well. But I say, apart from that, it's 95% spray paint still. You know, and spanned on the canvas as well. All my canvases are spray paint. You know.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I use bits of paint pens for some of the canvases. But it's all spray paint, no airbrush. People look at it and think, oh, it's airbrush, but no.
Never knew that. So it's all paint, all spray paint.
Yeah.
And how does it make you feel? You know, when you've kind of, you know, you've finished this like beautiful piece, you stand back and you look at it. That must make you feel proud of what you've kind of created. You must be like, wow.
Yeah. It does. It's hard to appreciate your own work sometimes, but
yeah, because I suppose you feel like I could be a little bit kind of big-headed about it, but it's like
no. I mean, I'm at the stage now where you know I can appreciate what I've done and where I've got to, you know what I mean? For sure, you have to. But also, I'm always striving to improve. So, you know, I'm never like fully, oh, that's amazing, that's it. You know, there might be one piece, maybe, you know, and then I might like it just for a month, then it'll be another one, you know, then it'll move on. But I'm always looking to the future and looking to improve. So, again, the moment you're kind of fully content, you might as well just hang your boots up, I think, you know.
Yeah, so you got, as we said, you've got to keep striving.
Got to keep striving, got to keep pushing. So, they're never enough.
Yeah, no, that's right. And do you like members of public? You know, when you're painting this beautiful piece on the wall, do they kind of stop and say, "Oh, this is incredible"? You know.
Yeah, you get amazing feedback. That's what I love about painting on the streets. Is the interaction with the public.
Something you don't get from the studio, isn't it?
Yeah. That's why, you know, it's really nice to be able to mix it up, you know. So maybe a couple of days in the studio, then I go out on the streets. Even if I haven't got a job, just go out and paint. You know, it's like a therapy. You know, and people love it. Yeah. It's that interaction. You know, people go, "Oh, that's amazing! That's made my day." see that piece every morning, it puts a smile on my face. Hearing all of these comments, all this feedback is brilliant.
And
that keeps you motivated, you know.
Definitely, and I'll tell you, it keeps you out of trouble. And Cenz, another thing as well, right? Art is such a positive thing. Being creative is such a positive thing. Whether you're doing like writing poems, or you're doing sculptures, or you're like emceeing, or you're making music, or you're doing what you do, putting art onto walls. How important to you is being creative?
Well, I mean, it's everything. It's everything, Like, as I said, I grew up. I started drawing, scribbling since I was super young age. So I've always been obsessed with art. So me, it's like an instinctive thing, So I have to create, So if I didn't,
Imagine if you couldn't create, or you couldn't make music, or there was nothing creative.
If I didn't have that outlet, I don't know what I'd do. Be going mad.
You'd end up being a cabbie like me.
Yeah. So yeah, I have to have that outlet, man. I have to, yeah. So yeah, it's part of me. It's an internal thing. Being an artist, I feel like I was born an artist. So like I say, even if I haven't got a job, I still get up and go to my studio and paint every day. So it's my life. It's me, part of me. Yeah.
And this is something I was going to ask you. How did you get your name, Mr. Cenz?
So
it's quite an unusual.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Mr. Cenz.
Yeah, it's a bit of an unusual one.
It's great though. I love it. It's so original.
It's like back in the day, people didn't have really meanings to their tags. So I used to write Cenz, but I used to do it with a C. I used to do Cence. So that was what I was writing back in the Bromley days. Then I changed it to Cenz, Cenz. Then there was a guy in Germany who started writing Cenz, and I didn't want to have anyone else writing this. I wanted to be different.
Be seen as a
so that's when I put the Mr. on there. And then also that was at a time when I was going fully legit and starting to be a bit more professional with it. So it was almost kind of like, right, this is the name I'm gonna push. That's when I was starting to push my art full time then. So I just changed it to that and just stuck with it. That's it. Once you get a name,
stay with it.
You just got to stay with it. Whether you like it or not, you just got to go with it after you've been using it for so many years.
And once again, it's part of you. It's part of you, isn't it? It's part of your, I suppose, it's part of the market and the PR. It's part of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're creating a brand these days. If you're an artist, that's what it is. But as I say, Cenz was just something that used to like the letters. The letters work well together when you're in the hand styles again.
So it goes back to hip hop.
Back to the hand style. If the letters worked, that will do. That tag will do. And I used to love Z's on the end. You can mess around with the Z's.
Z's
Everyone loves a Z,
isn't it?
Exactly.
Z's, I love the Z as well.
So yeah. No, sorry guys, no deep meaning to it.
So that all stems back from tagging.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you've like travelled around the world. I mean, where have you been, man? I mean, you've been all over the place.
Yeah, no, I've been blessed to travel to some amazing places. A lot of the big murals I do in the US. I go there quite a bit because they love their mural culture over there. Obviously their mural culture goes way back. Kind of to like in Philadelphia and stuff like that, and they've bigger supporter of that kind of public arts really. And there's a lot more kind of funding from like real estate and stuff in America, so there's a lot of money in it over there, So travel there a lot, all over Europe. Been to some crazy places. Probably one of the craziest was Tahiti for a graffiti festival. That was absolutely amazing. It's like paradise. Yeah.
Wow.
Been to some crazy places like Azerbaijan, which was pretty nuts. So yeah, I've been lucky. I feel, just talk about it now again, I just feel very blessed, man.
Also, you done the Biggie character in Shoreditch. Can you tell me about that? Because that's absolutely, that blew my. When I see that on your socials, I was like, wow, how good is this? So
yeah, that was a cool
Biggie character. And by the way, I'm going to put this in the slideshow
right.
as well.
How
did the Biggie
so
character?
every now and again you get you kind of get a commercial job which is like a dream job, you know, and it fits perfectly. So yeah, the guys at it was Global Street Art, they were working with I think it's with Pepsi and the Biggie Foundation with the family, and they approached me about it, and I was like, yes, of course, man, you know what I mean, because you know, obviously I respect the dude, love his music, so it was great. It was a great thing to be involved in, man.
And in terms of music, you know, what music do you listen to when you're painting? I mean, is it all kind of mixture now?
Yeah, I listen to everything, man. But as long as it's got funk and soul to it, you know. So I listen to a lot of old funk, a lot of kind of African funk as well, Nigerian funk, lot of soul, lot of. I listen to quite a bit of house music, but it's just got to have a nice kind of funky feel to it. A lot of kind of new electro stuff.
Bit of groove.
It's got to have a groove. Yeah, exactly. You know, and then you can see that in my, you know, in my style. You can see the rhythm and the groove, you know, in my work.
No, you can.
So it's important. Yeah.
Some incredible artists, you know, all over London, all across the world. I mean, you know, who are you rating nowadays? I mean, must be a huge list, but I mean, is there a few?
This is always tough, this question.
It's a tough question, yeah.
It's always tough question, because
it's a bit like saying to you, can you give me your top 10?
Yeah, I hate that, man.
Or do you
also,
want to just say
no. I mean, I'll just talk about it a little bit, because there are some amazing artists out there who are doing some really great stuff, you know. And there's and people who are still keeping the essence of hip hop and graffiti art, but pushing things forward. You know, they're the kind of people I respect. You know, like there's Duz from the Netherlands, who's, you know, traditional graffiti artist, but now he's doing this amazing abstract stuff. You know, some of the old school guys still going. You know, like big up to Remy Ruff. You know. So, yeah, people are just kind of pushing graffiti forward, you know, those kind of people are still pushing the boundaries of it. You know, they're the kind of people I relate to, because that's what I'm trying to do, you know. But I try not to look too much. It's a difficult one with the whole Instagram thing, you know. And I think that's one of the big problems with young artists now, trying to find that original stance and original kind of style is there's too much to look at. It can be overwhelming, you know. So I try to limit what I'm looking at, because it kind of distracts from what I'm doing.
And there's some, you know, there's some proper writers out there. You know, you like your 10 Foots, your Tox, Fatso, and you know, all them guys like putting up their names all over the place, in places where, you know, you'd think, how on earth did they do that?
Yeah.
I mean, do you still love looking at that?
Oh yeah, of course, man, of course. Yeah. I still love looking at, you know, all the destruction and all the bombing, man. Yeah, always loved that. Yeah.
It's because it's always, kind of like how you kind of.
Yeah, every time at the train station, I'm always benching. I'm always trying to get my phone out, get pictures of pieces and that. You know, yeah. Again, that's just, it never leaves you, man. You know, I love that.
It's in your blood.
Yeah, I was you know, doing that from when I was a kid, you know, and I've always loved doing that. Always loved looking at new reaches and new tags, and yeah, of course. Again, that's the core, that's the basics of the culture, isn't it? You know, that's the foundations right there.
Totally.
So, you know, always got to have a love and respect for the foundations.
Taking it back to the root.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Back to where it all started. Back to that hand style.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you know, how can people find you as well? I mean, obviously, you know, you got your Instagram account.
Yeah, I mean, I get most of my you know, inquiries and my work come through Instagram. So yeah, people can hit me up on there. Obviously, you can check out my website as well, mrcenz.com. I'm on Facebook as well. So yeah, I'm pretty easy to find. It's not hard, you know. that's the great thing about Instagram as well. You can speak to artists directly, you know.
Well, you would be sitting in the back of my cab now if it weren't for social media.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, do you want to do it? Should we do it the old school way? I mean, is there anyone you kind of want to give a little shout out to, or do you want to give one big shout out to all the fans, all the artists you've worked with along the way?
Yeah, man. Like as I say, so just talking about, give a shout out to all my international kind of graffiti family, all FX crew. So FX was created by my man Per, rest in peace.
Right.
Absolute legend. We've got a wicked international crew now, man. And some of the artists in there are amazing, and they're all artists who are pushing it, you know. So big up to Hex as well, OG, and so big up to all those guys. And then obviously, everybody who supported me, bought my work over the years, that's really important, you know. So yeah, I'm lucky. I've got a lot of people who've been collecting my work for many years, and I'm really grateful for that. To my family and my wife for putting up with me. more important, yeah.
We don't forget the missus. Big shout out to the missus. But listen, Cenz, it's been an absolute honour chatting to you. I know it's like a Sunday morning, but you know, we're still kind of like half awake in it as well. But listen, it's been a real kind of honour chatting to you and finding out a bit of your kind of background history, and and thanks for stepping forward to do this little
No, of course,
chat.
man. No, of course. We've been talking about it for a while. I'm glad it happened, man. Yeah. It's been good fun.
And anyone watching this, we're going to hit a slideshow in a minute of some of Mr. Cenz's work, which is going to be absolutely incredible. So, you're going to be in for a treat. But listen, as we say in the cab game, Mr. Cenz, be lucky, my man.
Nice one, man. Big up.
It was an honour to meet you.
Yeah, man. Wicked.
This place is long.